Is a highly sensitive person actually an introvert or an empath in disguise? Maybe it's the same as trauma or autism or anxiety. So, in this video, I'm going to tell you the answer and debunk 5 myths about high sensitivity. And if you missed my video on what a highly sensitive person is, you may want to watch that first, so I'll include a link above. Myth number one, high sensitivity is the same as autism. While high sensitivity does fall under the neurodivergent umbrella, along with autism and ADHD and a few others, there are distinct differences. So both highly sensitive folks and autistic folks get easily overwhelmed due to their environmental sensitivity. They both process information deeply, but they differ in many ways around social and emotional experiences. For instance, HSPs read subtle social cues more and we self reflect more than folks with autism. Some highly sensitive people are also autistic, and many, but not all, report experiencing ADHD. So I'll dive into this topic more in a future video because I really do want to highlight the strengths of each group and what they have to offer. Myth number two, high sensitivity is the same as introversion. Truth. Approximately 30% of highly sensitive folks are actually extroverted. Some are even high sensation seekers who need higher levels of novelty and experience to feel satisfied. So, an introverted HSP is going to need more downtime. They're going to need more reflection time than an extroverted, highly sensitive person would. An HSP extrovert will need time to engage in their external world, to socialize. They're also going to need more inward reflection time than a non-HSP extrovert would. And they're going to get more easily overstimulated. Non-HSP introverts are introspective, but they're not processing as deeply as a highly sensitive introvert would do. They don't have that pause and reflect mechanism in their brain, which slows down decision making, which creates a need for not just quiet time, but time to integrate experiences. Introverts are getting overstimulated by too much social engagement. They need to recharge alone. But HSPs are getting overstimulated by that sheer volume of input that you notice. Sensory information, people, body language, emotions, noise, screens, all of it. Number three, high sensitivity is the same as being an empath. Truth. HSPs are empathetic, naturally. Empaths are empathic, slightly different. So empaths and HSPs are not the same thing, although there seems to be at least some overlap. Unfortunately, there's not a ton of research on this, and you'll find a lot of different information and conflicting views where you look. But how I understand it is if we look at HSPs on a spectrum of empathy, empaths would be at the far end. And according to Dr. Judith Orloff, who's my go-to person when it comes to anything about empaths, empaths not only have empathy for others, but they actually feel others' emotions, energy, even physical sensations and pain as if it were their own. Not all HSPs have that experience. They're empathetic, they can understand, they can feel into what people are going through, but not necessarily at that high of a level. Empaths tend to also have heightened intuition and spiritual experiences, and this can heighten connection but can be incredibly difficult to regulate. Empathy is just one part of being highly sensitive. Since we have more active mirror neurons in our brains, we do have higher empathy, but the primary characteristic and the primary experience of the trait is something we call depth of processing, thinking, processing, reflecting deeply. Myth number four, high sensitivity is a result of trauma. So truth, high sensitivity is found in over 100 other species, so not just in humans, including fish, mice, fruit flies, primates. So this shows that high sensitivity has a biological, a neurological basis. It has a purpose. So it's a trait that humans and other animals and insects are born with that is marked with distinct brain and nervous system differences that are present from birth. So things like that deep processing we just talked about, awareness to little details, more empathy, higher perception and intuition. And many HSPs grew up with the absence of trauma and are living well-balanced lives as adults as a result. So the two do not always go hand in hand. So although difficult childhood experiences such as misattunement, neglect, abuse do not cause a person to be highly sensitive, HSPs are more impacted by these events when they do happen. These HSPs will be more prone to depression, anxiety, shyness, neuroticism, health issues. But on the other hand, HSPs who were raised in really nurturing, supportive environments or experience that later in life through friends, relationships, therapy, they're going to excel so much more due to differential susceptibility. Myth number 5, sensitivity is a mental health disorder. Truth. Sensory processing sensitivity, as it's known in the research, is a normal temperament variation that shows up in 30% of humans, and like we said, lots of other species. Now, while some HSPs will struggle with anxiety, depression, and other issues, not all do. Many actually thrive, like we talked about, when they're feeling balanced and supported. So again, the two do not go hand in hand, they're not synonymous. So I'm curious, what misconception, misperception have you heard about highly sensitive people on social media or from your family or friends? I'd love to know. Please share in the comments below. And let me know if there's anything from this video that you'd like me to expand on. And if you're just realizing that you're highly sensitive, check out the description for more resources to support you in this process of learning more about yourself, including my free sensitive self-care workshop so you can take good care of yourself. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.